Hello everyone, welcome to part 15 of the 2 foot by 4 foot in scale layout. Just kind of showing you my trans pack again, but anyway, I thought I'd get a little more detailed explanation of my two switches that I was showing last time around for my DCC or my DCC $22 setup that I have now, to where I can run my trains on a DCC or DC, to where I can switch them back and forth. Anyway, I decided I'll draw you a little diagram, and hopefully that'll help explain exactly how I wired these two switches up to where I can either use these two controls here, or I have the 12 volt out that goes into the DCC controller that will control the train, obviously, that way, or I could do half and half. So anyway, let me show you that diagram. Okay, here's how I set up my DC and DCC track layout. As you can see here, this is my current track layout. It's a rough draft. I didn't get real fancy on it, but it kind of makes the point. Anyway, as you can see, I have my outside loop and my inside loop. Well, what I wanted to do is I wanted to be able to run either the inside or the outside loop DC, and then the inside or outside loop DCC, or run them both DC or run them both DCC. So I come up with this idea that I could use a double pole, double throw switch. Basically, a double pole, double throw switch means that you have an on. This would be an on, and this would be an on, and this is really a common, is what this would be. So your options are on and on. It's a two-position switch, so you either toggle the track to this side or this side. If you understand a double pole, double throw switch, that's the way they work. Anyway, in using that format, what I did is down here I kind of drew out a schematic of exactly how this is going to work. Say you want to run the inside loop with either DC or DCC. Well, all you have to do is flip that switch. This switch here, obviously when you flip it one position, is going to go to DCC and to DC. So this is a schematic of the switch. So if I flip it to that double pole, double throw to this port, then it's going to take and it's going to move that over to the DCC controller, track controller. So this track will now be running, if you follow that around, be running on the DCC controller. The same with track 2. If you flip the switch to DCC, it'll flip the relay over to this side, or the poles over to this side, and then it'll go around and it'll do the DCC controller. Which the DCC controller, basically, that's two wires. They're not polarity sensitive, so you just have two wires that come off the two center poles that go on that. And then if you want to run DC, obviously it's the opposite. You flip the switch to there, and it goes to my dual transformer track 1 DC. Flip the switch to DC on this one, and it goes to track 2 DC. So basically what you have is, when you wire the switch, is you have the center two poles are your track, are your common. So you have your two wires coming off the center for one switch, two coming off the other for the other switch. And then obviously it's just a simple matter of flipping the switch one direction or the other. I think it's a really cool little setup. It's simple. A couple $4 double pole double switches, or I think they're actually cheaper than that. I bought a bag of 10 for under $10 for Amazon. But a couple double pole double those switches, and it gives me full control of whether I want half the track to be DCC and the other half to be DC, or for the whole layout to be DCC. My reason I did this is because of the fact of, I have different locomotives that some are designed strictly for DC, and then I've got some that are DC or DCC. So this kind of gives me an option on my locomotives. But anyway, I just thought this was a little cool diagram that I could show you of actually. Well, I hope that explains it a little bit better. Feel free to ask me questions if it didn't. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Please take the time to subscribe, and have a good day. This is the Electron Man. All aboard.